Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Okay. Please give me a minute. Okay. Sorry, I was on mute. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the today's session. Um, Today we are in the day three of 6 day faculty development program, and on the topic of research paper writing and publication. I would like to welcome our today's guest speaker, Dr. Vijay Ravindran, sir, Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Saranathan College, Trichy. So before getting into the FDB, I would like to share a few services that we are provided in Pencil Bits. We do essay, research paper publication for engineering and Scopus indexed journal for disciplines like engineering, management, and commerce. And we provide different patent grant services such as Indian design, UK design, Australian design, Indian utility, German utility model, Japanese utility model, US patent publication, and Indian copyrights. We are glad to share with you that we did 2000 plus patents with 100% success rate. Then we are doing textbook publications for all the disciplines, and we are providing book chapter publications and then PhD assistance for engineering and management. And we are doing IEEE paper for engineering, and Pencil Bits constantly organizing many events like seminars, workshops, and FTPs for faculties and academicians and research scholars like you. And now for students, we have started organizing events like workshops and project contests. So these are the few services we are provided in Pencil Bits. Before getting into the session, we'll get to know a few things about our today's guest speaker. So today we have Dr. Vijay Ravindran sir with us. He is a very passionate educationist. He holds a PhD in electrical and electronic engineering. He has overall 10 years of experience in teaching field, and he has published various research articles in 20 plus international journals, attended and participated in many conferences, workshops, and symposiums. His main area of interest are embedded systems, instrumentation, digital image processing, mobile communication, and computing. I request Dr. Vijay Ravindran sir to deliver his presentation, please, sir.
Thank you very much, Kartika ma'am. And I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Sankita ma'am, given this opportunity to me. And my dear professors, very glad and gracious good morning to all who joined here, and thanks for joining. And as she told, I'm myself, Dr. Vijay Ravindran currently working as a assistant professor from Saranathan College of Engineering, Trichy, Tamil Nadu. As she said, I did my BE in electrical engineering and ME embedded system. Then I finished my PhD in networking and communication. And to let's get into the today's topic of FDP, uh, paper writing for SCI journals, and let's get into the session. So, mastering the art of crafting publishable papers. So, these are the agenda which I'm going to cover today in my session. So, before getting into the topic, I would like to know, since this is the third day of this FDP, you might have gained some knowledge on paper writing, and most of you would has been in this stage of uh, finishing your PhD, or you might have published so many papers so far, and you are yet to publish so many papers so far. So there is no one. I hope there not be anyone here without knowing how to write the papers, or having the knowledge of publication in SCI journal, but we should know what is the importance of publishing in SCI journal, and before writing any paper, we should understand the process of the research that we are uh, undertaking, and then we need to structure the paper according to the research methodology proposed. Then I would like to give you some writing practices and tips that you may know, or you can say like I can say like for improvisation of your paper writing skills. Then selecting journals. So journal selection is also important before submitting any paper. Then the submission process, you know the process for any journal that we are submitting. There must be a process. Then how to submit revised paper after the revision comments after review. That one. Then the ethical consideration before publication and after publication, and finally I'll summarize everything whatever I have going to discuss with you. Right. Let's get into the topic. So introduction. So understanding the importance of research paper in any scientific journal is crucial for an academician, right? So as we are in the teaching fraternity, we are in need of publishing papers for a semester or for a year. We need to show some improvement in our own performer, and also the college standard or the department standard will improvise. So nowadays it's been mandatory for all the academicians to publish papers in national international conference, of course in journals, Scopus and SCI index journals. So I would like to say this presentation may inculcate something in your understanding of writing research paper. So what is the importance of publishing papers in SCI journals? So as you all know, it is very, very important for an academician, for professors working in engineering departments, arts department, commerce department, anything, for any teaching fraternity, publishing papers is a major criteria nowadays. And that too, publishing in citation index paper, SCI journal, has become a prestigious thing. And of course, Scopus publication, conference with the Scopus indexing, UGC care journals, things are nowadays considered to be mandatory in all the colleges, because it will recognize our work. Then it will somehow make your department H index, college H index high. Then also the overall college H index, college NARF ranking will improve. So for all the things, publishing the paper in SCI journal has been a very important criteria nowadays, right? Then career advancement. So to improvise yourself, to update yourself, for an year at least, we need to publish SCI journal, SCI index journal. At least for an year, we need to publish at least 1 or 2, right? So research impact. So depends on your research. You might have seen every journal is having some impact factor based on the reputation of the journal. So if your research is under the category of that particular journal, which comes under the good impact factor, so it will create an impact in the category of research impact, and that may improvise your overall profile too. Then the fourth one is a very, very important one, and that is considered to be a very special one. That is considered to be a very special appraisal for any academician. So getting a fund or grant is said to be a very hypothetical thing nowadays. So getting a patent recognized, getting a fund recognized, getting a grant 100% that we have applied is a very hypothetical case in many colleges. and they are facing they are thinking that as a very big issue from their side, because they may say like normal colleges won't get any grants or funding. Only IITs or NITs may or they may be getting the fund or grants that they are proposing to the central government or private based projects. It is not for getting a fund and grant. The proposal should be very professional, and it should be environmental friendly, and it must create an impact on the development of the society. So these are the categories the funds are allotted, and the funded project will be getting selected. Then of course institutional benefits. If all the above 4 categories are satisfied, institutional will be beneficiary. Institutional will be the first beneficiary automatically. Then of course the final point which I have mentioned is a very, very important thing according to the teaching community, because personal fulfillment is the one which comes under our own satisfaction. So if you are proposing something, if you are getting a proposal selected, it is a big thing for us, and since it is recognized by the India's most top academicians, so the reviewer committee, everything that we are submitting, not only the proposal and projects, for even SCI journals, the reviewer committee and the editorial committee will be from the prestigious institution, maybe the top universities around the world, around the maybe from IIT, NIT, etc. Right. So these are all the importance of publishing papers in SCI journals. So I haven't mentioned anything about Scopus index journals. So Scopus index journals are the one which are next to the category of SCI index journal, as you all know. So if the journal is Scopus indexed, automatically, if the journal is SCI indexed, automatically 99.9% it will come under the Scopus category in most of the journals, right? So as already mentioned, the publishing papers in SCI journal, SCI index journal, will enhance our professional growth. As a faculty member, yearly or semester wise, we need to show some improvement for the department's sake as well as for the college management sake. So if you are publishing papers with club authors, I mean friends from your nearby colleges, or friends from your nearby universities, or friends from your nearby state universities, central universities, so that may expand your networking, and so the chance of getting the paper selecting the paper may be increased, right? So being published in top tier journals or the conferences will advance our career growth. Then research impact, as I already told. So if you are doing some research in your maybe the engineering field, example I'm telling. So if you are doing some electrical engineering or you are doing some mechanical engineering, if you think that your research is under some expertise, or you are under some pioneer institution, you should publish the paper in the high impact journals that may elevate your college H index, your own H index, I-10 index, and that may create a very big impact on your professional growth. So contribution to knowledge. So if you are publishing, if you are publishing the papers then and there and semester wise, as like your teaching job, publishing the papers are becoming regular nowadays. So people are thinking like if that may not be true. If you are only publishing the paper regularly, it may be proved that you are having uh, good knowledge on your research. So people might think research, we may stop the research after doing PhD. No, it is not. So the real research start only after completing the PhD. As I'm sure that many members joined in this faculty development program may be more experienced than my own experience. So you might know that the professional teaching may or may not be depends on the uh, one research. It depends on the multidisciplinary research. So research impact is also one of the major factor. Then academic recognition. As you all know, I'll quickly uh, uh, go through these slides, because the real slide which I want to discuss is in the upcoming slides. So as already mentioned, for academic recognition also we need to publish papers. So for our own enhancement or skill development, and for creating our own institution as a reputed institution, to create your own profile as a reputed profile, high profile case, for NARF ranking, for NAC accreditation, for MB accreditation, for everything. Now the paper publication has become mandatory. So you all know there must be a special category in NBA or NAC, whatever. I'm sure you all know about the importance of accreditation purpose. Every college or every university is now focusing on, even though you are autonomous institution or you comes under separate university, government university or private university, this NIRF ranking, NAC accreditation, NBA has become mandatory now, and we need to publish papers for that sake also, because our credibility, our own college reputation depends on the NIRF ranking and NAC accreditation and NBA accreditation. So funding and grants we have discussed already in my previous slides. So for institutional benefits, university rankings, as I told, NIRF ranking, this is considered to be a very important thing. So college H index is to be high for any NIRF ranking. So for NIRF ranking and all, publishing papers is also is not only important. They are keenly watching on the college H index and the impact factor of the journal that we are publishing, and the impact factor of the Scopus indexed SCI index journal, and the research and grants, patents, everything they are looking into. So personal fulfillment. So we must be satisfied ourselves while doing research. So it must be under some good mentorship. It depends on the our supervisor, guide, and so our legacy will continue once we become guide, right? So we are into the real topic now, my dear friends, my dear professors. So before starting any research, we must understand the process of the research, and for understanding the process of the research, we must choose the research topic wisely. So selecting the topic in the research is considered to be a very, very important factor, because a topic or title which you are selecting is playing a major role in your paper, because the one-line title or the two-line title which you are posting for your paper is creating a very big impact before reading your complete paper. If your paper is good but your title is very poor, it may create a bad impact, as you all know. But there is a chance of vice versa also. If your title is too good but your paper may or may not have sufficient findings, That may also happen sometimes. But the main thing is, if you are choosing your title wisely, it will create a very big impact. And to be frank, it will create a good impact in the initial stage itself. And so your paper will be moved to the next review or review process. So as you all know, we'll submit the paper in the journal, any journal that we are submitting as a first step. Then it will go to the editorial committee. The editor will formally check the paper at once from his desk. Then he will move to the sub-editor. Then the paper will be moved to the reviewer. But during this process, which I mentioned now, if the title is very poor or the area which you have chosen is actually lagging, there is a chance of rejection of your paper in the initial stage itself. So choosing a trending topic is a very, very important factor. Of course, after choosing a trending topic, our title also should be a catchy one. So as you all can see in the slide, that the title should be specific about what we want to convey. So it should be precise, it should be catchy, and you may avoid using acronyms. For example, there are many terms nowadays we are getting used to. I can say abbreviation. So avoid using such thing in your paper title. You may use abbreviation, acronyms in your paper, but please try to avoid acronyms or abbreviation in the title of the paper unless it is considered to be very, very important. Then these are all the structure of a research paper. So as you all know, this is not a very new agenda that I have kept in this particular slide. So for every paper that we are choosing, the title is very important, and the paper's format will be like starting from abstract. Abstract will have keywords, then the introductory part of the proposed work, then the material or the methodology which you have used or suggested, proposed in your system, then the results and discussion of the proposed system, and finally you are concluding your research with the summary, with the major findings, and the bibliography reference part that you have referred, that you have taken. So under the introductory part, literature survey will come. So I haven't mentioned literature survey as a separate thing here, because we are introducing something in the paper by referring something. So I haven't mentioned literature survey as a separate one, but in my upcoming slides, I have given very much importance on the literature survey. So let's get into the structure of the paper design. So abstract. So I have already discussed about title. So let's get into the topic of writing abstract. Abstract should inculcate the essence of your proposed system. It must make the reader it must be easy. It must make the reader, I can say, user friendly to any reader or any department reader who are reading your paper. It must be understandable. So for example, I'm just consider this scenario. If some mechanical engineer is reading the abstract of an electrical engineer paper, if the abstract is full of electrical terms, he may not or she may not understand that particular abstract. So it must be user friendly to everyone. As I told already, the essence of the paper is implicated in the abstract. So it must be precise, For journal to journal, the number of words for writing the abstract is different. So for some journals, it is limited to 150. So for some journals, it is 250 to 350. It depends, but it is the summary of your paper. It is the essence of a paper. You should start with the real-time involvement of your proposed work. Then at the end of the abstract, it must end with your findings and your innovation. And of course, maybe if you are finding some numeric values or if you are doing some numerical analysis, you may or you may not initially put those numerical values, but it is better to inform the readers about your paper in the beginning of the abstract. So it is a written summary of the research paper. It should contain the real-time relevance of your findings, and of course, it should contain the numerical analysis and the hardware or software that you have used for your research, and it should be precise within the journal mentioned words. Then keywords. So I have when mentioned about keywords. Keywords, as you all know, it is the key elements of your research. It keyword by if you are if you want to refer some paper, easily we can refer the paper only through searching by only through keywords. For example, if I want a paper, if I need a reference paper in the field of chimney, for example, I'm saying, so chimney is a keyword. So in the journal search column, I'm just mentioning the word chimney. So if I want to relate the paper in smartwatch, smartwatch is a keyword. So in the search column, I'm just putting that particular word as smartwatch. So it will it will reduce your job, and in the first search itself, it will show you the recently published work with respect to your keywords. So then introductory part. So for any paper that you are writing or you are proposing, this introductory part will be the first chapter. As you all know, for in the PhD thesis, the first chapter will be introduction, right? So you might have guided so many students, UG students, PG students, even PhD scholars. So the first chapter of any thesis will be introduction, right? So as like that, the first chapter of the first section of the research paper is introduction. So the introduction should be in such a way that it should relate the real time recently related real time works and the objectives of the related works and the significance of the findings. So the introductory part may discuss the current advantages and disadvantages of the proposed work also. And so at the end of the introduction, you may write the advancement of your work over the existing works. Right. So finding the research framework is considered to be the key factor. It relates the literature survey, the recently related studies, book chapters, and the patents that you have published. As you all know, in the literature survey, it is not compulsion that you should only refer the journal papers or conference papers or book chapters. You may refer the published patents. You may refer the authentic websites. You may mention the original framework from the original website. Then methodology. So at the end of the introductory part, you will define your work. So in defining your work, you might have taken some work and you have taken some new work, or you may improvise some work. So there are two types of research, as you all know. One is novelty in research, other one is improvisation in research. So novelty is the one which is actually unique from the present research. Then the improvisation research is the one which improvises or enhances the current methodology, which may have some added advantages than the present works or the existing works. So the methodology here refers the set of methods that you are undertaking to complete your entire research process. You may say methodology is nothing but the you may for any research you may have a flow chart. You may not have, but it's better to have a flow chart in your in the at the end of your introductory part, because it makes the reader easy to understand your research paper or your research proposal. So in the methodology that you are proposing, data collection is considered to be an important factor. So the data collection may be the real-time data or the experimentation data that you have undertaken, right? So the methodology that you have taken for the research mainly depends on the data collection. Then structured writing style. As you all know, dear learned professors, any paper that we have, any research paper that we are reading for the very first time, if we found the paper not interesting or tough in our first impression, we'll move to the other reference, right? What is the reason for not selecting the analytical paper as a reference paper? Because even any of the participant may answer for my question. If you have if you are proposing something in your research, which reference paper will you prefer? Will you be preferring whether the analytical paper or the theoretical paper? Professors, are you guys with me?
Yeah, mostly analytical.
Analytical, yes. So analytical papers are the one which will give you the understanding of the research, and they may or may not mention the 100% analytical method that they have taken. But by referring the analytical papers, you may get the impression of writing your own analytical method or your own your own writing style. So we must follow a writing style by adopting some reference style from the reference papers. So analytical papers are the one which doesn't have any standard. To be frank, if you are if you are referring any analytical paper, it may not have any standard on the entire proposal. Then and there will be they have used analytical terms. They might have indicated some equations. They might have indicated some tables, and so the graphs. Again, the results oriented things. So there is no patent. There is no pattern on analytical papers. But in the theoretical paper, strictly there must be there are some pattern that we need to follow. So choose your own writing style in your paper structure. Citation, sources, and reference. So, my dear friends, citing any works is considered to be a major and important thing in our paper writing. So, for example, if you are referring a paper and if you are referring some diagrams and you are thinking in your mind, you may think an improvisation of that particular figure or diagram that you have referred. So from that, you may draw your own diagram and you may keep it. You may keep that for your paper, but you should not copy the entire diagram or the complete diagram from your reference paper. So if you are taking, you should give proper citation, and that is professional ethics. So chapter 4 is the results and discussion. So this is considered to be one of the major part in our paper writing. So result and analysis is the collection of is from the collection of data that we have analyzed. So it may be from hardware, it may be from the software. So for the software part, you may have the simulated graphs. For hardware part, you may have the hardware pictures. You may have some hardware relevant diagrams, block diagrams explained, components part explained, like that. So after the now getting into the reviewer section of your result section. So if just consider the scenario, if I am the reviewer and if I'm looking into the looking into the paper's result section, I will see whether the results are fabricated or the results are manipulated. Because for any editor or any reviewer, it is very easy for them to identify the real tabulation or the cooked up tabulation or the manipulated tabulation. Because with our experience, for example, if the students are making mistake in paper answer sheets, from the first line of the answer itself, we as an experienced staff, we might easily find it as a wrong one. Like that, for reviewers or editors, it is very easy for them to identify the fabricated results or the manipulated results at the very first site itself. So in the peer review process, they'll keenly look into the tables and the results oriented section. So your results oriented section should be authentic and it should be legible for the reviewer. So before writing or before putting any table, just have a constructive feedback from your seniors, from your fellow colleagues or your guide or your fellow friends or the expertise or the subject experts, so that they may tell the suggestion about the particular tables and result oriented things. It may have an impact on the improvisation of your results, and so the quality of your work is automatically improvised. So the result findings, mostly it is comparable. So you might have referred so many papers to your expertise. You might think like for every research that we are proposing may not be unique. It must be an extended work of something. So we used to refer our present findings with the old findings or the existing findings. So there must be a rigorous analysis. So you must at least refer minimum of 20 to 25 recently published papers before making your result analysis, because reviewer or editor, as I told, they might have a keen knowledge on the recently published papers in your expertise, in your field of interest. Because Knowing the journal's scope and aim only, you are submitting the paper. So your paper will reach the corresponding editor or the corresponding reviewer at the field of your interest. Electrical oriented people will be the reviewer for the electrical oriented submitted papers. So they might easily find the flaws that we have mentioned, or that you have unknowingly or knowingly by fabricating results. If you are mentioning, they will easily identify that. So, and of course, you need to analyze your paper with the recently published papers. For example, now we are in 2024, we may have a literature survey for your proposed work for the past 5 to 7 years maximum. For writing the thesis, you may refer 10-year-old or 15 years old paper, but for the paper submission for the and particularly for the SCI papers, the recently published year paper is limited to maximum of 5 to 7 years, because the result oriented section, since it is comparative analysis, if you are mentioning if you are comparing with the very old result, there is a chance of rejection of your paper in the initial stage itself. So if you are comparing with the recently published paper, it makes the readers or the editors, of course the reviewers, to have a good impression on your paper, and so they will move your paper to the next stage. So if your paper is getting some comments by the reviewer, it is well and good, because after revising the reviewer comments, there is a more chance of your paper for to get acceptance. But if it is getting rejected in the first stage itself, in very few journals they have the resubmission option, and in some journals, if you are submitting again after immediate rejection, they won't accept. So you should compare. You should make the comparative analysis only with the recent findings, not with the older findings or the very old papers. You should not refer. So conclusion and recommendation. So conclusion and summary, it should summarize your entire research paper that you have undertaken with the present findings and the novelty of your present findings. And you may mention the numerical values. For example, if you are improvising the efficiency from 88% to 91% or even 89%, you can mention the numerical values in the conclusion part. And of course, the conclusion should have a lead of the proposed work. So the conclusion must say the limitation of your finding, and it should give the readers to have a scope of further research. So the conclusion must be effective only by summarizing the key findings. So as I already mentioned, your entire paper impact can be seen just by reading abstract and conclusion, because since it crafts the essence of your proposed work, your numerical findings and your comparative analysis is reflected in the abstract and conclusion. So it is having a significant impact. So the conclusion should be an effective one. So it is creating the readers, or it emphasizes something on your field of expertise. Then comes the bibliography in the reference section. So as already mentioned, you may refer the recently published papers, conferences, and of course the book publication, patents, and from the original websites that you have referred. So submitting a paper is considered to be the very important factor nowadays, because before submitting any research paper, we should first see the author section or author's column in the journal's editorial or in the journal editorial manager page. There are certain norms for certain journals. Typically, most of the journal have their own format of depends on the journal. The format may also differ, as you all know. So the formatting the paper in the correct format is considered to be an important factor for any journal, because if the paper is not formatted according to the journal's format, the first command or the first message that you will receive from the editor is change the paper according to the journal format, or in some cases, in some journal cases, they may reject the paper by seeing the wrong format. Because if the journal is having single column format and you are submitting the paper in the double column format, it may have a wrong impact on the. It may create the wrong impact that you are not clear with your research work. So there is a chance of rejection of our papers in the initial stage itself if you are not formatting in the correct format. So and of course, submission process is also considered to be an important thing. So for some journals, they will in the author section column itself, they have mentioned like you have to submit the abstract separately and the keyword separately, figures separately, then the unbounded manuscripts separately. So for mostly Springer oriented journals, whatever I have told now is applicable. For Taylor and Francis and Elsevier, they may the format of the paper might be different, but for Springer oriented things, in the initial stage itself, they will ask us to submit the figures in the separate folder, abstract in the separate folder, results in the separate folder, tabulation in the separate folder, and finally the whole unbounded script without diagram in a separate folder. So as I mentioned already, the formatting of the paper, the submission process is different for different journals. So now comes the steps for our research, for any research progress. So this particular thing I have already discussed with you. So creating idea for a research is considered to be an important factor. So that depends on the area that we have chosen. So for example, if you are an electrical engineer, any electrical engineer in the group, in the participants, any electrical engineers? Okay, any engineers in the group?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Madam, please tell the recent advancement in your field, ma'am. Just share a word. Just tell your department and tell the recent advancement in a single line.
My department is computer science and design. So
Fine,
design related things, virtual reality, many things are there. Recent
Fine. Artificial intelligence are there. And,
artificial intelligence, machine
several things are
learning,
there.
deep learning. and the-
Deep learning, machine learning. Yes, madam. Thank you very much. So for every related field that we are doing our research, there are improvements day by day. I hope you professors, you agree with me. So for engineering oriented things, now AI, artificial intelligence is overtaking humans. So we need to accept one particular fact. Now the human efforts has been reducing by the involvement of AI. But in my upcoming slides, I will tell you the pros and cons of AI usage in the papers research paper writing. So, as Madam told, for computer science, computer science oriented things or computer science engineering, AI, deep learning, virtual reality, augmented reality are the recently developing things. So, if the area is selected in that particular category, so it will create a good impact in the beginning stage itself, and so the author or so the editor may have a very keen look on in paper, and so he must have a. If your idea is very old, initial stage itself, there are chances for rejection. If your idea is in the trend, there are chances for your paper to move to the next stage before screening itself. Because in the recent in the recent survey from the ISRO Bangalore, they have invited a proposal mentioning some advancement in the propeller technology. So they have received so many proposals from so many states of India. The strange thing is, they have selected a proposal from a school student from Karnataka. So because the one particular boy, I forgot his name. So he has whatever he is in his 11th. He has written something regarding the propulsion technology, and the director ISRO, if I'm not wrong, director or secretary, I don't know, I'm not sure. So they have informed that they have called that particular boy, and they have appreciated that particular boy for his contribution. Because why I'm telling this particular thing is they want the recent technology. He is 11th CBSE studying student. Since he has studied something in his physics, 11th physics, he has given some advices, and he has given some block diagrams, which has a major, it's created an impact on ISRO scientists. So it's a very strange thing, because many proposals from engineering colleges have been submitted to the ISRO, but they have particularly something they have selected, but we don't know the exact end result of that research proposal. But the important thing to be extracted here is the significant contribution from the school boy, since I am relevanting that particular thing because he is in the trend. Whatever he has studied in this in his studies, and he has seen something in YouTube, and he has written something, and he has drawn something in MS Word, and he has sent some proposal. So it made the people to directly call that particular school boy, and they have appreciated them. Recently, I have seen this particular thing in NDTV news. So I have told this particular thing because being in current trend is very, very important nowadays. So in the research oriented thing also, it is very, very essential nowadays. So keeping an old strategy, proposing relevant proposing methods for old strategy has become obsolete nowadays. For they don't want any further findings on the old research topics. So the need of the hour is we should be in the trending or the developing area of research. So the criteria of the research topic must be trendy, novel, and unique. So and of course, if it is unique and novel, it will automatically be interesting. So the next thing is manageable. So for any hardware project or hardware proposal that we are proposing, management is cost wise we need to manage, and resources. whatever the resources we have. So we need to look into that particular view also. So it should be manageable. We cannot do the things that ISRO is doing, because we'll do projects or we'll do simulations with our resources. Whatever ISRO is doing, since they have very big fund, anything may be possible for them. But managing is very difficult for any self-financing colleges or any universities that we are representing. So managing things for our research is also a major or important factor that is to be considered. Then approach a professor. It is nothing wrong if you are approaching the subject expert for our research. It must not be our guide. It must not be your friend. It may be from the subject expert in your nearby colleges, maybe from NIT, IIT, IITs, or even a good from the NPTEL lecture also. So there are nowadays every platform is open to all. So you find an email ID of any professor easily in the websites, even in the NPTEL videos, or the end of the video you may find the contact number, or you may find the email ID of that particular professor. If you have any doubt in your area, or significant, you find any significant things in your key research, you may approach a professor or subject expert. It is actually a good practice, because there might be a simple solution to your problem. If you are thinking solution to your problem by our own resources, it may not be manageable also. So approaching a professor or the subject expert will reduce your burden in so many ways, even cost wise also. That can be searched by university or recent research topics. That is what mentioned in the next point. Then traditional method using literature survey. So abstract, we have already discussed a lot, many things about abstract. So abstract should cover the following points. It must introduce your proposed work. It should give an objective to the problem statement, and what methodology that you have adapted, and a point on result and discussion, and conclude your work or simplify your work finding in the abstract column. So there are certain tools that you can assist for your writing your abstract. Don't completely rely on these tools. These tools may be wrong on so many ways, because whatever AI tools that we are referring or we are utilizing is searching the particular thing from the internet. So all the things mentioned in the internet may not be correct. As you all know, ChatGPT, in the ChatGPT website itself, they have mentioned, in the Google ChatGPT mentioned website itself, they have mentioned ChatGPT may be wrong. May be wrong. Please refer the original findings of the research. So for research findings and all, ChatGPT may give you the overview, but it cannot give you the exact finding or exact significance that you want for your research. So you may refer this artificial intelligence tool only for the purpose of enhancement of your paper grammatically, or it may make your paper professional. It may not add any analytical findings, since it may be wrong, or it may not have any correct solution for that. So for writing the abstract, you may use a rightful AI tool. So it generates something relevant to your relevant topic. Then Quillbot is a very famous thing nowadays. So it is available in the paid version. So it is available in the free version. In free version, you can able to work only in the standard mode. In the premium version, you may use more number. You may have more number of option like formal, or you may have creative. You may have an option called expand, shorten. You may have the expand. You may have an option called fluency. So there are more options in Quillbot, and Quillbot itself having a Grammarly option with included in this. So by using Quillbot, you may check the grammatical oriented things of your paper too. Then Jasper, Trinka are also the AI power tools which assist you in writing abstracts. Introductory part. So introductory part. So any paper, any research finding that we are analyzing or we are writing, it must be grammatically correct. So Grammarly is the very important tool. Now in the recent findings, you may have seen some YouTube videos mentioning integrating the AI to ChatGPT with Microsoft Excel, or integrating ChatGPT with your MS PowerPoint. So you may create your PowerPoint presentation by the assistance of AI or ChatGPT. But the thing is, you need to double check the findings or the answers given by the ChatGPT. It may not be correct all the time, right? So the Grammarly, Scribber, language tool are all the assistant tools that we can refer for writing introduction. So literature survey. The professor's literature survey is one of the major, is having a significant, it provides a significant contribution to your paper. It should be very crisp, and you must have taken the literature survey to enhance your finding. The literature survey that the related works that you have taken should not be better than your finding. It must have some drawbacks, and so you have some solution for that drawback from your work. So you should take the literature survey, or should you take the reference of your paper by choosing the approaches and the drawbacks of the current or the existing works. So the simple thing is, I can say your literature survey should give the solution for the drawbacks of the existing work. So it will create a strong foundation for the paper. So for literature survey, it is very easy for analyzing our related works using Google Scholar. Google Scholar is 100% authentic, and it will clearly show the related works in the search column, because we are just referring the paper by selecting the correct appropriate title. So Google Scholar is considered to be the important literature survey helping or developing tool, because if for example, if you are writing some paper relevant to AI or relevant to machine learning, in Google Scholar, if you are typing simply typing machine learning related papers, it will automatically fetch you the results of the recent findings in the area of your search. So from just by I'll show you the demo now. You might have know this earlier. Just look at this demo now. So I have taken the Google Scholar now. So Google Scholar, so I'm just searching machine learning algorithms for prediction, right? So in my very first search itself, it has automatically fetched so many results. And the most important thing is, it will fetch you the results of the most cited paper in its first column. So as you all see here, the first paper comes for the machine learning prediction algorithm is cited by more than 1,200 peoples. So the next thing you may see, like it is cited by almost 2,600 people. So all are maybe open source paper, or it might have some restriction on the journal database. So from this Google Scholar, we may find the reference paper, or you may select the recently published paper. And of course, just by clicking the cite option, we may have this option for citing. So based on this citation formats, we can select the required citation format for our paper. Some journal may use Chicago standard, some journal may follow Harvard standard, but Harvard standard is followed by most of the journals. So it is a standard format for most of the papers. So just it'll simply mention the paper's reference here, and this is the method of referring papers through Google Scholar, right? Now back to my presentation. So Mendeley is also a similar kind of one. It will help us in relating your literature survey in citing. For example, I'm telling an example. So consider the author name is Vijay. I'm referring Vijay's paper. So we used to mention Vijay et al. If the authors are more than 2. So Vijay et al. And we used to mention the year also, 2018, 2024, like that. So by using Mendeley, if you are adapting Mendeley for literature survey, typing the author name has become very easy by using Mendeley, because it will reduce your work if you are adding your research. If you have added your reference paper in Mendeley, if you have added the reference paper correctly, only by clicking the first name or the first word of the referred paper, you'll get the author name. So it will reduce our effort actually. So Mendeley is also one of the very good tool for writing the literature survey. Sorry. Then contents. So contents. So Quillbot will not fetch you any content, but it will paraphrase or rephrase your sentence. So there are chances in Quillbot that it may make your wordings or sentence wrong. I can say there are some certain options in Quillbot to make the sentence an expanded one, or to make a sentence a shortened one. So you may have a shortened version of your sentence, or you may have an expanded version of your sentence. I am not saying it is 100% faulty or it is 100% wrong. There are certain cases it may make the sentence wrong. So before using these tools, just double check twice that the meaning conveyed by the Quillbot or any tool that you have used is correct, or it should not change the proposed workflow. So for reducing plagiarism also, nowadays many people are using Quillbot. But if you are paraphrasing a particular sentence or word so many times, there is a chance of making that sentence completely wrong on the first or on the second or third paraphrase. For example, if I'm paraphrasing an abstract or 2 lines of an abstract as a first time, it may paraphrase correctly. But if I'm having, or if I'm taking plagiarism report for that particular sentence, if it is showing plagiarism, if I'm again paraphrasing that particular word, there are chances for that particular word to become a fault. The information conveyed may be false. So we can use the Quillbot only for as a summarizing option, or to make your sentence formal or professional. You should not completely rely on Quillbot for making or writing your research. So diagrams. So as like for sentence formation or sentence paraphrasing, we have Quillbot, Hemingway, other thing. We do have some AI tools for drawing diagram also. Microsoft has its own diagrammatic software called MS Visio, that is Microsoft Visio. Through Microsoft Visio, we could able to draw flowcharts, block diagrams in color format or in the black and white format, whatever format that we prefer. So if you are doing projects or if you are writing paper in the networking field, MS Visio has so many options in its latest update. Recently, we have we have used Microsoft Visio for writing a networking paper. We found that very easy, and it makes our work very simple, because it will only create blocks and flow diagram blocks. Content you have to write. It will not write any content and all. But for drawing diagrams, Microsoft Visio is considered to be a good assisting tool. Then Draw.io. Draw.io is actually a paid version. In free version, you cannot utilize many things. There are something called open source in the diagrammatic tool, but you might have some watermark on the diagram. So it is very difficult to remove the particular watermark on the diagram. But for then eDraw Max. eDraw has some limited types of diagram. You may use the eDraw for writing some scientific illustration like equations, and for some engineering related diagrams like architectural oriented things. Civil engineer might know about DOE and all. So this is one such diagram which is actually used by civil engineers. eDraw. Then citation and reference. So I have already discussed about citation and reference. Google Scholar, Scribner, Mendeley. Then plagiarism. So plagiarism checking is considered to be the important factor for any research that we are undertaken. Even if you are submitting a patent or a proposal, the very first step they are undertaking is plagiarism checking. So it will easily identify our work's novelty and uniqueness. So if it is the journal to journal plagiarism percentage may vary, but plagiarism is very wrong actually. It should not be our work should not be plagiarized from any of the other or existing works. So to write or to assist plagiarism free contents, or plagiarism-free research writings, we have a software called Turnitin, which is considered to be a world's best plagiarism identifying software, which is used by many academicians as well as students from various universities around the world. So, Turnitin, Urkund, and there are many plagiarism tools, many plagiarism identifying software. But worldwide, can student version or from the just by creating email ID, and you may have this, you might have watched this particular thing in YouTube also. So it's getting Turnitin account has become simple nowadays. Previously, it was very costly, but now from the very big university, there are of Ternatins are available in the market. It is trustable actually. I will not say it is risky. You should purchase your own account. You should not share any account with you should not buy that account. You are say instructor account or it may be student account. But it depends. But Windows software or Android iOS software for our laptop. If you are using Windows laptop or laptop, you might use Windows 7 or Windows 10. There are softwares available in the market as an authenticated one. If you are directly purchasing the software, it might cost high. It must be 10,000 or more. But there are some cracked version available in the internet, which is absolutely free. You may crack that version by using the cracked identity code. So Turnitin is also has become nowadays become like that. So there are some cracked version available. So you may use that cracked version for your for checking the plagiarism of your research proposal. So duplicate checker is also there, but comparing to Turnitin, it is showing lesser. It may not be as accurate as Turnitin. So then STI. Just give me a minute. So plagiarism checking. So we have Turnitin as the best software, the worldwide use software. So give me a second. Sorry for the inconvenience cost. My laptop is out of charger. I just connected the charger. Give me a minute. Yes, guys. Now I think my screen is visible. Yes. Yes, sorry, professors, for the inconvenience caused. As I already told, my laptop is out of charge. It got switched off. Now, just now I plugged in the charger. So, duplicate checker, I saw some comments in the comment section. Duplicate checker is good, but it is not 100% authentical as Saranathan is, because as a plagiarism checking tool. So earlier it was Urkund for several journals. Now Saranathan has become worldwide popular, and it is in the, if you have used Saranathan, you might know some options on Saranathan. It is referring all the papers from the uh, internet, student papers, and even in the databases. So it is found to be the very big network database. So only it is worldwide acceptable. Worldwide, they are accepting Saranathan as a authentic plagiarism checker. All right. So systematic investment plan. So here comes the investment plan. So you might think like I'm showing some slide which is irrelevant to our FTP program. No, it's not. So systematic investment plan is like systematic investment of time for our research. You might say you don't have enough time to do your research, but making ourselves for research finding is something important that we need to plan for research, for doing a research. So we should plan accordingly by allotting specific times in our day-to-day regular work. So at least 1 to 2 hours we need to spend for our research, or at least we need to plan. Sorry for the interruption. I got the uh, unknowing call. I have to attend because continuously they have called me 2-3 times. So we need to plan accordingly, and we need to allocate time accordingly. So we need to make ourselves free for doing research. So at least 1 or 2 hours in a day, or at least 1 day in a week. So there are chances in your working environment, maybe Saturday, 2 days holiday, we compulsory holidays of Saturday in some colleges. So you may do all your researches on Saturday, or you may do all your researches on the on 1 day, on the planned day, in our according to regular schedule. Yes, yes. So I have already told using the AI related tools may enhance your research, but it may not be correct all the time. So here is the slide which completely makes you understand about the pros and cons of AI usage. So using AI, you may have you may find the you may get the data, efficient data, at very fastly, like Google search. So it may be creative also, enhance creativity. It must be accurate in some cases. If the particular work has more relevant work on internet, it may be accurate. Otherwise, it may not be. So time-saving solutions. For some solutions, for some problems, AI may give you an accurate results. Then streamlined content. So for any content relevant, content oriented things that you, for example, if you are going to do some lecture on e-vehicle, you are just typing something in ChatGPT, how to take a lecture on e-vehicle. It will create an overview content and agenda on the particular lecture. So it will streamline your content creation. So consistent and quality input in a very speed time. Then increased productivity. So it might give you so many results in a productive manner. So now here comes the disadvantages. So plagiarism concerns. So it might give you the plagiarized content from the internet. So that is a major problem by using AI. Then lack of originality. As I told already, everything mentioned in or every data fetched from AI may not be original. It may implies the original content by plagiarizing. So it may not have the original results. Then potentially bias. So it may bias certain things. It might not give the complete or the exact answer that we have asked for. So inaccurate information. I told already. So the information may not be accurate all the time. Poor grammar quality. So now that the AI has improved so much updates in their columns, update in their softwares. So grammatically, it may not be poor, very poor, but there are chances. It is it's just a computer, right? So there are chances for for creating the wrong grammatical sentence also. So limited creativity in certain cases, or because if you are asking some questions, the very important thing in the AI is you should ask the question in the correct way. If you are asking questions in the indirect way or not in the correct way, AI will think its own way for getting solution, and it might not be correct as per your requirement. If you are referring that particular input from AI, it will automatically make your results completely false. So since it is taking contents from internet, there are chances for privacy related issues also. So that is also one of the drawback of using AI. So dear professors, somehow come to a conclusion on my lecture on effective paper writing. So before writing any research topic, we should be positive and our mind should be happy, motivated, and we should be enterprising, imaginative, should be creativity, and we should always be optimistic. And of course, for any academician, determination matters, as you all know, my dear friends. So strong mind, so strong in the sense, it doesn't relate anything on the body, on the physical mentality of the researcher. Strong mindset is what required for any research that we are undertaking. Then act accordingly. Act, in my words, I can say action changes things. So we should act accordingly. It may change the reality accordingly. So thank you for the patient listening, professors. And I'm very much interested in answering your questions if you have any queries on the related topic that I have taken so far. And here comes the end of my presentation. If you have any queries or have any, if you want any suggestions in paper writing, please do not hesitate. Please don't hesitate. You may ask. I might try to answer your questions.
Good morning, Professor. This is Dr. Nagarajan from Government College of Engineering, Trichy.
Hello, sir.
Sir, you mentioned some of the AI tools for writing research.
Yes, sir.
paper.
Yes, sir.
Can you suggest some of the AI detection tools? Because if you use such tools, AI tools, that is also will be detected by the reviewers.
Yes, sir.
And
Now,
it can lead to plagiarism.
sir, actually, you might have heard about Turnitin. Turnitin is having AI facility now in its updated version. So Turnitin is now have a separate facility of finding AI.
Okay.
So the thing is, sir.
Can individual buy Turnitin, sir?
Yes, sir.
I think it is not
You can buy.
supporting.
Sir, I told in my slides itself, sir. Sir, you might know about Turnitin pirated versions. See, institutional basis there are they are selling Turnitin, sir. That is very costly. It might cost around 5 to 10 lakhs year-wise. But there are Turnitins in the market available in the market having instructor account which is having a deduction tool. But to be frank, sir, since I have used it, that is also not 100% correct, sir. As you said, as you have mentioned, finding AI using the AI deduction tool also may be faulty because that is also one of the AI tools.
Oh, okay.
So it may some for some data, for example, if I am doing some numerical analysis and I am typing that particular numerical content in my own words, if I am taking plagiarism for that, it is showing AI. It is nowhere related. It is not at all possible for a numerical value to be generated by AI, right?
Okay.
But it is showing as a AI generated content. So it proves that AI also wrong, not correct, not 100% correct all the time. It is showing some faulty deductions, sir. So now, right now they are not having any successful tool for identifying AI. But you can refer Turnitin for that. But it is also not 100% correct, sir.
Okay. I try to purchase it, sir, because I wanted to use that.
You may purchase it, sir. There are even you can ask this organization or the faculty development convener, sir. They may assist you, sir.
Why I asked this question is when I went to the particular website, the Turnitin website, it shows some of the options. One is institutional login, and another one is
Which